broadcast is live, but I can't see anybody. Oh, it's a video. Oh, cool. Look at that.
We are live. Welcome to the MMA UK Late Show. Great start. It is live and it's quite late. It's 9 o'clock.
It's late.
How are we all?
I'm good. How are you doing? You all right?
Bryan, it's great to have you on the show again. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hairy. Look at me. Look at Lockdown.
I think you've got more hair than everyone else on the show put together.
That's right. Apart from you, that's it. That's about it. But no, we're going for full caveman look here during lockdown. But I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thank you. We're also joined by Chris Emmanuel.
Hey, Katie, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. You've been working on the body in lockdown, I see.
Yeah, I've been doing Defence Lab every day. So I'm a black belt now, and look. Honestly, the guns are coming on beautifully.
When you're back up and running.
There's plenty of
42-year-olds
who look like me.
You look like TJ Dillashaw.
And of course, I'm joined by my fabulous co-host, Peter Knox. And you're surrounded by Fight Fuel goodies there, Peter. Why don't you tell us about our new sponsor?
Yeah, I've got to move attendance because we're no sponsor.
Can't hear you, Peter.
Hello, can anybody hear me? No?
This is probably the best that Peter's ever been, actually. His accent's beautiful.
No, my mic's working. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Right. Chris, can you hear me? This is a great start. This is Chris.
Can you hear him, Bryan?
No. Bryan, can you hear me? No, Bryan.
I think
Chris,
it's just me that can hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear Chris or Peter. I can only hear you.
So this
Not sure that's a good thing.
Okay. Tech guy, if you're listening,
Frankie, you
please
jump
help
back
us
in.
out.
So Frankie, I'm just going to jump back in now because we don't even know if the audience can hear us.
I can hear you. I can hear everybody.
Yeah, I've only got Katie. That's all.
I've got both Bryan and Katie.
Can anyone hear Frankie?
I can hear Frankie and Katie. Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
Kate.
Yeah.
Frankie, Katie,
Katie can't
and
hear
Bryan, I can
Frankie.
hear. It's just Peter, I can't.
Right.
Please bear with us, everyone, while we sort out these technical difficulties.
Why don't we just jump back on Zoom and...
No, we keep on going. This is fine. People, it's working. It's just...
I can't hear Frankie. What did you say, Peter?
Katie can't hear you, Frankie.
Everybody take
Frankie,
the
continue.
Everybody unplug their headphones to their phone. Take out your phone as well.
But I can't hear. I'm deaf.
Take the headphones out of your phone. Right, can you hear now?
That's right.
I can't hear because I'm partly deaf. That's why I don't hear.
Yeah, I can hear Peter now.
Yeah, I've got Chris. Peter, you there?
I'm there, but I can barely hear you. So
No, Peter.
Peter, you plug your headphones in.
Hang on then.
Do you want me to unplug mine? Is that what you were saying?
I don't
No,
know
if you
what
can
you
hear
said.
everybody, keep them in.
I can't hear Peter. That's all. So I just unplug. Just unplug. Just do that.
And me?
Right. Hello.
Can you hear? Peter, we've lost you completely.
Yeah. I'm talking.
Can
I
you
might
hear
start singing because nobody
I
can
can
hear
hear
me.
Peter.
I can hear Bryan.
No,
I hear
Peter.
Frankie.
Chris.
I can't hear Frankie.
And no, Katie. Katie's gone now. Oh.
Kate. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Right.
Can no one hear me now?
Peter, you've got the screen to yourself. Can you hear? Can everybody hear
I
Peter?
can hear Frankie. Hello,
I can also hear a really weird noise.
We are Frankie boys.
Chris. How can you hear Chris?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey,
I
Chris.
can hear
Yeah.
Chris.
Katie. Who can hear Katie?
Speak, Katie.
Hello.
No,
There you
I
go.
can't hear Katie.
No.
Okay, I'm going to kick you out and come back in, right?
It's also a really weird noise, though. Anyone-
Katie's
I think
gone.
it's lag as well.
Right. Katie.
Kick me,
Speak now.
baby.
No. Right. Katie's going to have to leave.
I
And then
can't
come
hear.
back.
Can anyone hear Frankie?
Yes, I can hear Katie now.
We've got Katie again.
Peter.
I
Just
hear
Peter
Katie.
now. That's all we need.
Right, let's
Peter.
see.
Me, hello.
Yes.
Bryan Lacey.
I can hear everyone.
Peter
Bryan
speak.
Lacey.
No.
Tell me a joke.
Bryan can't hear Peter.
Right. I'm going to
This is
go.
going to
and
be
find-
interesting. I like it.
Can you not hear this really weird noise as well, though?
Yeah, there's.
Aye, it's a bit of lag. We should have maybe left this for a week so we could have tested it.
Right, can everybody hear everybody now?
Yeah, I
No.
can hear everybody. Yeah,
What's that
Can you hear me,
horrible
Brian?
noise, though?
Yeah.
it sounds like a baby on a
Yeah.
guitar or something.
Right, plug headphones. Everybody get headphones back in.
Oh my god.
Here, do you get headphones?
Aye, then. Yeah, wireless.
What is that noise though?
Aye, what is it? Mickey Mouse is having a wank.
Casey, can you talk? So,
The squeaky noise
Can
is
you hear
gone.
me?
yeah, I can
Everybody
hear
hear
everyone
everybody?
now. Mhm.
Yeah.
Right,
Good.
show must go on.
Yodeling.
Hello,
That's it,
Ian.
innit? Time. Good night, guys. Great seeing you. So long.
Chris, talk. I can't hear Chris.
Can you hear me? How about now?
Look at
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
that's it. I think that's it.
I'm going.
Is it because I connected my
Definitely
headphones
down to one
after
song
we started
each,
live?
everyone.
Maybe you've got to sing as well.
Right.
Right.
Peter, why don't you tell us about our wonderful new sponsor, Fight Fuel, who must be
Yeah.
delighted that they're sponsoring the MMA
Yeah.
UK LateShow.
Yeah. I don't know if I wish I had bigger boobies so this could be closer to the screen, but yeah, Fight Fuel is a supplement and clothing company founded by martial artists for martial artists and all combat sport athletes. The aim of the company is to supply supplements and clothing of the highest standard to all fighters and warriors so they can train, perform, and win. So if you want to be like Justin Gaethje, you need to start drinking this shit, right? Right? So
And isn't there a discount code for our customers, Peter,
Yeah,
or
so
our
that-
viewers?
yeah, if you look at the bottom of the screen, it should be flying across this right now. So there should be a link to the website in the comments or maybe after the show. So if you type in MMA UK 15, you get a 15% discount. And next week, we'll be starting a big giveaway. So we'll be giving away loads of stuff. But you can only win if you watch the Late Show.
Too right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Looking forward to hearing what people have to do to win that. Also, while we're plugging stuff, we may as well tell people that they should go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And while you're on YouTube, why don't you go to Bryan Lacey's YouTube channel and subscribe as well? So
Why not? Hey, look at that slick. No supplements available there. This is all you get. No boobs and a bit hairy, but yeah, there might be some odd stuff to watch.
So the theme this week was Chris Emmanuel's idea. I believe that we're all going to sing a fighter walkout song each. Chris is dressed for the part.
We're singing
Chris
two.
is going to sing two. Chris is going to sing two.
I've got a surprise for you. So
Awesome.
we'll see.
So, and then you guys have to guess in the comments whose walkout song it is. So yeah, should we just crack on with that, guys? Because I would rather get the
Oh, you want to do it straight
the
away?
bit that I'm
Dear
nervous
God.
about out of the way.
Are we going straight
See
forward?
what's
are we?
worse? People are actually watching. They're just fucking check.
Is
Oh my God.
Peter lost sound again?
Hello,
Oh, Peter's there.
Katie.
Peter's there.
I can't hear
Okay.
him. What's he saying, guys?
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
He's back. I've got him. Okay,
Oh, right,
so
okay.
Chris,
Oh,
seeing
right,
as
okay.
you've got two definite songs that you're going with, I think we should start with you. So
Okay,
people
right.
have to
So,
put in the comments who they think it is, and then also when you're finished, the three of us are going to try and guess who it might be.
right. So I've come with props, as you can see
TJ
now.
Dillon Show.
Did I what? Sorry,
Too early. TJ Dillon Show.
TJ Dillashaw. Unfortunately, I couldn't sing any of his songs, but so this very first song. This is my prop. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so
I know.
my fighter, he said, how can I describe my fighter? So I was a UFC heavyweight champion, you know, I was a high school wrestler, you know, and I fought Tyron Woodley, you know, and I beat him as a college wrestler, you know. And I would say, you know, that I didn't cheat when I beat Tyron Woodley. I always made weight as well, and I just gave Tyron Woodley a little old check. But, you know, this is my little bitty song.
Oh, he's playing it.
$50 and a flask of Crown. I grab my Stetson and I pull it down. I rope the devil riding in the town with $50 and a flask of Crown.
Wow.
My jeans are faded and my boots are brown. I stand for passion and I stand my ground. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down but $50 and a flask of Crown. Mamas, pick your daughters up and throw away the key. Me and the boys drinking, feeling kind of mean. We're in the mood to hear some country sounds with $50 and a flask of Crown. That's what you're getting, guys.
Nice. Bravo, mate.
That was fantastic, Chris.
So song number 1 down. I can't wait to do song number 2.
That's longer than probably our song.
Ryan, who did you think it was?
Hmm?
Who did you think the walkout was,
Oh, I've
Ryan?
lost Katie. Where's Katie gone now?
Kate was asking you who you thought the walkout was.
Oh, I was too absorbed by the performance to guess. So he's fought Tyron Woodley.
No, I didn't say that.
Wrestling, though, yeah? He's wrestled him. I don't... Oh. No, I'm out.
JB Graham.
Where's Katie gone? I can't hear anymore.
So my coach has now said that he's
Frankie,
beside me.
help us out.
Tech guy, you need to
It's
get back
Ivor
in.
Peter as well.
Oh, for fuck's sake. By the way, we're trying new software tonight for anybody
Frankie?
watching at home.
So,
So go and
can
tip
anyone
up.
hear Peter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we
I
can't
can hear you all.
each other again. Chris can hear everybody.
Oh, you can hear us all. What's Peter
Got
saying?
you back now,
Chris?
Katie. I've got you.
Peter was
Oh,
just
right,
saying
I'm
we're
back.
trying new software.
Yeah,
Hence the
it's
reason why
fucking
everything's
up.
going so bad.
Blame the tech guy, 'cause it was his idea.
Okay.
Right.
Peter. Every time you touch something, your phone it disconnects you, so you need to stop switching between phones.
Who is?
Who are
You?
you talking to?
I did it
Yeah.
once
I
before the
haven't
song
switched.
started.
I haven't
Aye.
switched phones.
No, but it's Peter.
Why did you stay in? Hang on. If we can hear each other now, Frankie, the host, needs to stay in. I think
You
that's
sure?
what it is.
Can you all hear me now? I'm in. Right.
Yep.
Right. Ask Brian, can you hear me?
Right, I'll remove again.
You, Peter. Katie, can I hear you?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I've got you. There
And
you
you,
go.
Katie. Chris, can you hear me now? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I can hear all of you.
Katie,
Right.
can you hear me?
Peter?
We need guesses for
Katie.
Chris's song then, because nobody's. Adam
Katie.
Wallace is guessed. I use like Peter.
Oh, somebody said
Brian
John.
Lacey.
Somebody said John. Somebody said Johnny Hendricks.
I
Aye,
can't
but
hear Peter though. To
Who just said that, sorry?
Somebody said John Hendricks.
Adam Wallace.
Adam Wallace.
Round of
Adam
applause for Adam Wallace.
Oh, well,
correct. Oh wow, well done, Adam.
I get the piece of straw now, mate. That makes sense. Sorry.
And we get the body, big wig.
The big rig.
That's not the body. The body's for something else. The body's for number 2.
Oh, for
I
fuck's
thought
sake.
that was
That's
your
what
new
put me off.
starter body.
I thought it was John
Your
Cena.
starter body.
right, who's going next for the song then?
Well, we could have Peter go next, but I can't actually hear him. So
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Right, Peter, I'll put you in the full screen, and it might be Katie might hear you now.
Hi, Katie, baby.
no.
Katie. Katie
No.
Hunter.
Peter.
Katie Hunter.
Well, do you two want to guess what Peter? It might be difficult to do a show without me being able to hear him. Though is my
Yeah, the co-host.
only concern.
Okay, do you want to leave and then come back?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Right.
that's probably a better idea. Right, join
Katie
back in.
Hunter.
Right, Peter, are you going to sing the now then? Or you want to wait?
Well, hang on, let me put my headset back on.
That's what I'm saying, that's what you're touching all the time. And it's losing. Listen to the tech guy, Peter.
Yeah. Right. So where's Katie? What's she done?
She's going to come back to rejoin.
What if I'm singing this song for her?
Well,
Now I'm worried.
we'll take the challenge.
I'm
off.
no. I just don't. I'm not that fucking good. But right. So is it me?
Aiden's won a beard down in competition.
Right,
Do you want to do that then?
Get a beer. Alright, let's go. I'm up for that. Right, let's do the singing first. So is it my turn?
Your
There you
go,
go.
mate. You go.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm going to add Katie back in.
Yeah, hang on. Oh shit. Hiya. My kids. Oh no. Please don't come in. Yeah. I'm not away doing
Can you
anything
hear
here. I can't hear her. No sound at all.
Peter.
Peter here.
Oh, yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
Katie.
We got you.
Katie.
Can Katie hear us?
Can you hear us,
Can
Katie?
I hear who?
Anybody?
Yeah,
All
I
of
can
us.
hear Peter. I can hear everyone.
Yeah, I'm going to do
Oh, you can...
Peter, you're going full screen to sing a song.
oh fuck off.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, it's not very long, but it'll do. Let's see. I'll probably fuck it up. Been practicing all day, and I'll probably fuck this up. Right, so I'm gonna get straight into it. But you see, it's not me, it's not my family. In your head, they are crying, and
I've
they're
got it.
texts, and they're bombs, and they're bombs, and they're guns. In your head, they are fighting. In your head, zombie, what's in your head? In your head, zombie,
Amazing.
Honestly, that sounded like the original.
I know
It brought
I think
tears
it was
to my
better
eyes.
than the
It's
original.
like Dolores is alive again.
I know we spent the whole show trying to get the sound to work, but I wished it didn't right there.
Yeah, just for that minute.
Getting ready to press headphones, hoping Peter would cut out. But no, it's good, mate. Really good.
Oh.
So it was Zombie by the Cranberries.
Right, so
Could
there
I-
was, hang on, this was done by two fighters. I want the UFC fighter, not the Bellator one.
There's two
Oh
fights.
no! I thought
Fights
so.
in the UFC, we've had it. Two fights
Somebody in UFC.
Yeah.
I think hasn't Aisling Daly had it in the UFC?
There's one, and then the Korean Zombie, number 2.
The UFC Ireland, she has it.
Wow.
Brilliant. And obviously Peter Queeley had it as the Bellator
Yeah,
fighter.
do we get bonus points for Peter Queeley as well?
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
do
And Korean Zombies had it as well, so that's...
Oh, I'm
There we go.
I'm
Adam Wallace is
I'm
on fire
X-Factor.
tonight, honestly.
Adam's bang on these, isn't he?
I didn't know the zombie did it, but I'm X Factor worthy according to Mason.
God, Mason. You've got issues. Right, let's go to Bryan next. You ready, Bryan?
Right. I've got
Oh,
a cheat
yeah.
stick.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Also, so Peter only told us I think we were doing 1 or 2, but then can you hear that all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was looking through it, and there's quite a lot of songs, and what I found out is that 67.3% of all MMA songs just have these 4 chords. So I did a little medley for you.
Amazing.
You got to name the fighters and the songs if you can.
got my pen ready.
Another head hand slowly, shot is slowly taken. Already done this one. Violence for such silence. Who are we mistaken? I got my head checked by a jumbo jet. It wasn't easy, but nothing is. No, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. Now let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West. Stay dancing, touching well like Elliot Ness. Track hits your eardrum like a slut to your test. Pack your best for a Jimmy every city of sex. Sweet Caroline, sweet Caroline. Hey Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey Mickey, hey Mickey, hey Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey Mickey, hey Mickey, I see the bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way. I see the earthquakes and the lightning. And I see bad times today. Notorious. Notorious. You held me down, but I got up. Already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound. Like thunder go and shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, cause I had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I've got the eye of the tiger.
Bravo.
That was fantastic. That was such a terrible idea of mine to follow you.
That's what I was
Bryan,
reading.
the
45
Bryan,
minutes ago, I was sat having my tea and I was trying to think of the song to do, and then a load of them just came up. So I was more nervous doing that than I would be doing a comedy gig. So there you go.
see,
Oh, wow, that was brilliant.
The guitar bit was perfect, but if you want some singing tips, mate, I'm available.
Let's combine. Let's combine. Who did you get then? So obviously we had Zombie before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got-
Zombie. Then it was
There-
Bisping.
There was Chris Weidman as well with the Tom Petty song.
Darren Till.
Yeah.
Jay Taylor got that
Then
as well.
there
Darren
was,
Till.
the last one was Misha Tate.
Boom.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Uriah Faber.
Then we had another English guy in there as well. I've forgotten some of the
Lucky
songs now. I
girl.
should have been writing it down.
California.
Oh, Sweet Caroline. We had Darren Till.
Frankie said
California.
Faber.
Yeah,
Faber.
Favours.
McGregor.
Mason
Notorious.
Tell me to-
Badly Rising.
Okay. Well, Adam Wallace done well. He's named most of the ones we've named as well.
That's been what you've been telling me, Shitty.
What about Badly
Yeah.
Rising? One of my favourite fighters.
Oh, I didn't know whose that was.
The Bungard.
Who-
He tends to
Bungard.
Bungard walks out there.
Who's
And
this?
then Notorious.
I won't back down. Is that
That's Chris
Weidman?
Weidman. Yep.
Awesome.
Again, it's
No.
your turn.
Oh, this is what I've been waiting for all
This
night.
is so bad. I
Ne-
honestly would never have followed Bryan had I thought that through. And not only that, but I don't even know the words, so I'm having to read them while I sing them. But here we go. He wear no shoe shine, he got toe jam football, he got monkey finger, he shoot Coca-Cola. He said, I know you know me. One thing that I said, you got to be free. Come together right now over me.
Yeah.
I messed up the words there. Sorry, you two didn't play.
The big slow, Mr.
Well done, Katie.
It Well done.
I know you were nervous about that, Katie. Well done.
Oh, singing's not my forte.
Yeah. or Brian
Oh,
or
Chris,
Chris,
we-
but they can't help it. Can't all be actual like me. You know what
Are we coming back to Chris for his second song now, or did you want to
Yes,
do it at
mate,
the
let's have
end
it.
to play us
Right,
out,
go.
Chris? It's up to you.
I mean? Come on.
Nah, let's get it over and done with.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so unsurprisingly, I have props. Now the prop being this top, and I'll give you a couple of clues. So I need to get my acting face on. I should have got some tips from Brian beforehand. Okay. I see you, Mike. I see you, Mike. You see me, Mike? You're a hustler, Mike. You know what a hustler is, Mike? A hustler is a pig that don't fly straight, Mike. Yeah, Mike. Oh, shit, my camera's falling down now, Mike. You know what, though, Mike? I don't care, though, Mike. I'm coming for you, Mike. I'm coming for you, Mike. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Now, should we come into the song? Soy soldado de Padre Berijo. Soy soldado de Patrio Espíritu. Soy soldado de voz de trompeta. Aleluya, soldado de guerra.
Got it. Oh, you still going?
Soy soldado. Soldado de Cristo. Guerra de mano. Y por testigo. Trae mi espada. Filo. Pues su palabra. Leva conmigo y soy soldado de Padre Berijo. Soy soldado de Espíritu. Soy soldado de Patrio Bella. Hallelujah, soldado de guerra. That's as much as you're getting, honestly. Me trying to sing Spanish. All day long I've been trying to learn the words to that.
Easy, mate. CM
That's
Punk.
amazing.
CM Punk, yeah?
CM Punk. No,
I still
close.
think LateShow. It still has to be LateShow. He's the only one who's on Lloyd's.
Are you saying that my
I
guy's on
think it
roads?
was... Yes. Well, he fails the visual test. Let's say that.
Look, as I told you, us 42-year-olds, we're just naturally gifted. We can't help it. We look alike as well, don't you think? Me and this guy.
Amazing. So that was Joel Romero, right?
That was Soldier of God, Soldado de Cristo, Yo Romero, my body double, my twin, my spirit animal.
Chris, remember a week ago when you messaged me, I've got an idea for a quiz. Let's play some music and you can guess who the fighter is for the Walkout song. And we said no copyright, so let's sing it instead. I bet you're glad you messaged me about that now.
Over the moon. And my missus all day long has had to hear me singing this all the way around the house. She's so fed up with it now. She's actually gone for a bath, so she doesn't have to be in the same part of the building as me.
That's the last time.
She's like, I never want to hear this again.
Oh, well, I'm pretty glad it's out the way as well.
We'll make some good clips though. It's not over. There'll be some clips coming out in the near future.
Lovely.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That would be amazing.
I need to disappear off the camera
Feel
for
free to leave
just a
me out of
second.
that. Okay.
I need to camera for just a second because I need to take this off. I'm sweating like...
I can
So while Chris is gone, Brian, why don't we talk about you and just what you're up to in lockdown? Because you're usually one of the busier guys that I know. You're always flying here, there, and everywhere, and you've got about 1 million different jobs and roles. And I just wondered how all of this is affecting your lifestyle. I mean, you must be pleased to be spending some time with the girls, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that's that 100%. 100%. It's welcome back, mate. Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Where's the old Romero gone? Hey, what have you done with Yo Romero? Let me know.
So I've been on the Herbalife diet.
Can't hear him now.
Lockdown, and it's amazing.
I can't hear them.
How svelte you managed to get. It's amazing. Honestly, go onto YouTube, go onto Facebook. I'm sure you can find a Herbalife distributor. maybe speak to my main man, Yanis Fleming, because he's a big proponent of them. Mr. Sport, if you don't know.
Shots fired.
I love that shout out. So Brian, sorry, back to you. Obviously, for people who don't know, you can't hear me. Oh God, here we go again.
That's okay. It's because I mucked out headphones. How about now? Can you hear me?
Got you.
I can hear you.
Real,
Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah, got all two of you lovely faces.
No, can't hear Brian.
Awesome. Okay, so Brian, I was saying for people that don't know, you're obviously a commentator at ACA. You're a stand-up comedian. You don't just commentate at ACA. I've seen you at a ton of other shows as well.
Yeah,
but obviously,
sure.
there've been no live events other than the UFC. What have you been up to?
Do you know what? The world is very different. Very different. We've been in this lovely little house and been having lots of family time. Just been itching to get back going, itching for that the world to start moving again, because it's madness just thinking about how crazy this has been. And for my world, both my jobs are in entertainment, so they're both with crowds, and it's all gone. So, and this is the same. I know lots of comics that have just lost all their work from now till Christmas, basically, because who knows when it's going to kick back off. So on that front, it's obviously been different thinking about that. But on the positive side, all the family time, loving just hanging out. The weather's been awesome. We're having a lot of fun. Schooling is actually quite good fun. I quite enjoyed doing that with Alice. She is a little Nazi, I will say that. She's hilarious, but I've quite enjoyed it. It's been a challenge, and I've learned stuff. I didn't know what a proper noun was before, but now I do. So we're all growing, Katie. That's what's happening in lockdown. We're growing outwards and mentally. That's what's happening.
And our hair,
And our hair, body, tummy, the lot. That's it. But it's not. Do you know what? It's not bad. There's worse things that could be going. Places to be stuck and locked down and all that sort of thing. So just doing what we do. That's it. Getting on with it. Waking up and finding out if we've got to do the same again the next day. But yeah.
And you've been kind enough to share some of your homeschooling with Alice on your YouTube channel. It's hilarious. Why don't you tell people who haven't seen about some of the stuff you've been doing with her?
So there was a little thing that one of the sketches is using Alexa. So obviously it's a golden age. We've got the internet, apart from tonight where this thing doesn't seem to want to work for us. But so Alice was actually talking to me about Alexa, and she was telling me what she'd learned at school, how to use it. And so I thought that's brilliant, we'll incorporate it. And then the next thing you know, I was in another room and she was asking it to fart. So this beautiful bit of technology, and all I could hear was that. So I came in, so we made a little sketch out of that for people to enjoy. But all that.
I haven't left that alone since I found out about that from your video.
I've had so many messages of other mums and dads saying, "I wish you hadn't posted that," because we watch it with our kids, and now all they do when they come down to breakfast is Alexa, do a squelchy fart, and that's the start.
She actually suggests different ones as well, doesn't she?
You can
She's
choose.
like, do you want a stinky one?
She has a smorgasbord of wind and variations on pressure, moisture, the lot. She's got a deluxe colour chart of farts in there, but we've been through them all more than once.
So what else are you trying to do work-wise? Is there anything that you can do from home, or are you just trying to keep your profile up with that and just kind of wait on Boris's announcements and see what happens?
It's kind of going to be, because it's not just Boris, is it? That's the thing, because it's global. So finding out when Russia's going to open up, when travel's going to open up, and my brother's a pilot, so it's affected him a lot as well. So he's like grounded, not flown for ages. So it's crazy. But back here, doing that sort of stuff, having fun, doing other bits like voiceover stuff and things that you can do from here. Use this little studio and a microphone. So it's making it adapt. I just want to get back to watching people punch each other in the face in the same room.
Yeah.
That's what I'm missing.
Yeah. Well, talking of people punching each other in the face, we saw that kind of live for the first time last night.
Thanks, James.
The UFC.
Thanks, James.
I can't see what James has said. What's it? Oh,
It's
get that
James
haircut.
Green, get that haircut. Yeah, my wife keeps saying the same, but I'm refusing. I am on a little hair protest, James. So, but when it's done, mate, I'll cut it down and I'll send it up to you. I know you need a few donations.
It looks like you want to look like let me out a Motorhead or something.
Unfortunately, minus the Jack Daniels and cocaine. So
Yeah, and you can't sing like him either.
no, mate.
No.
Charming. So yeah, anyway, talking of live events, we actually had one last night in UFC 249. So can we all hear each other now? Can anyone not hear
Yep.
each other?
You're the
Fabulous.
hear
lady.
everyone.
You hear that?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yes.
So, what did everyone think? Did it live up to the hype? Peter?
What are you talking about? Hype? What, the singing?
249. Did it
Let it
live
go.
up
Oh,
to the
sorry.
hype?
Let it go.
Sorry. No, well, I was one of those who thought I shouldn't go ahead, and then I changed my mind on Friday, just before they got the positive test, and then I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, this shouldn't go ahead. But obviously, if I'm being an MMA fan and all that, it's good, but from a health and safety perspective, we'll wait and see what comes out of this in the next couple of weeks. We've got a couple more shows in the next 7 days, so we'll see. We won't know the next few weeks to see if it was worth doing it or not. I know people want to get back to normal and stuff, but I thought he shouldn't have went ahead, but I still watched it. Got up earlier this morning and watched it, and it was a really good show. I thought they keep saying, oh, it's one of the best UFC events ever, but let's be honest, the attendance was the lowest attendance ever for a UFC event. I mean, 0.
Dana White even said that, 0 gate.
You know what I mean? But from an MMA point of view, it was good to get back, and it was some real cracking fights. It was a really good event to watch. But hopefully
Yeah.
everybody stays safe and nobody else tests positive because of it. So.
Yeah. Well, what did everyone think of the main event? Chris, what were your thoughts on Tony versus Justin?
I'm a massive Tony fan, so I
Me
was
too.
absolutely gutted.
Yeah.
What I love about Tony is he's just a complete martial artist. It doesn't matter where a fight goes, he's super talented everywhere. But unfortunately, he saw the very best Justin Gaethje. He was controlled, he was measured. His striking was so on point. What he's done with Trevor Whitman, Trevor Whitman's turned him into an absolute animal. And as much as people, I've seen a couple of comments today about, maybe Herb Dean shouldn't have stepped in. I completely disagree with that. I was having a conversation with one of the fighters that I managed today, Aaron Lalay, and he turned around and said he thinks that Herb Dean potentially prevented MMA having its own Gerald McClellan. For Tony Ferguson to turn around and actually physically shake his head and stop, there was no way on earth that he was anywhere near with it. He'd taken some ridiculous amounts of punishment, some crazily heavy shots over the 24-minute period. His face people say that when people fight Tony Ferguson, it looks like they've been in a car crash. He looked like he'd been in a train wreck after that. He got an absolute pasting off of Justin Gaethje, so I thought it was a brilliant stoppage. It was just such a shame to see that being probably the end of Tony's title challenge, I would say.
It looked like Tony Ferguson fought Tony Ferguson. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I saw a few
did.
people post that. I think that the blessing for Justin Gaethje was that it got bumped from April 18th to now. He took that on short notice, and so that for that fight, his prep would have been the weight cut. That's all he would have been able to concentrate on for that short a notice. 3 weeks is a long time, especially when you got the sort of mind of Trevor Whitman with you, and they can actually work out a game plan, get you physically to peak at the right time. And his pace was unreal. His output was really high. Even when Trevor Whitman said, you got to take 10% off these shots, I was thinking he didn't really do that. And I thought he might suffer the consequences of going later.
He didn't slow down, did he?
Didn't slow down. And that's what surprised me. And he was clean. His work was clean. He was catching Ferguson. And Ferguson's so unorthodox. But the other thing I will say on the flip side is Ferguson just didn't look as...
His movement
wasn't there. He was more slower, more lethargic. And
do you think the weight cut that he did on the day before the supposed Khabib fight affected him, having to do that again?
Listen, I have no idea what he cut down to get to that before. So you don't know how much he's depleting himself, how close he was. But any weight cut takes something out of you. They all talk about it's the fight before the fight. And he just didn't look like himself. He's had quite a long layoff. He's also had a lot of issues outside which he's been very open and honest about, which I think has been amazing, and people have rallied around him and what he's overcome in that respect. But I just thought we saw the best Justin Gaethje against what I think is the worst Tony Ferguson we've seen for a long time. His decision making was poor. He was relying a lot on his chin, wasn't checking those kicks. And Gaethje, credit to Ferguson, Gaethje took more than anybody else could take off of Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
He hits. It's inhuman the way he hits people at that weight class. And Ferguson took it all. But you got to defend, you got to have movement, and he just didn't have that last night. And for me, the stoppage, I think that was a brilliant stoppage. I think, without a doubt, just look at the damage. And if you've ever been up close with fighters after a fight and you see exactly what they've taken, and that's superficial. That's as soon as it happened. You wait for an hour when that swelling builds up, when the headaches kick in, when the adrenaline drops out. Herb Dean saved him from. Ferguson would have wanted to go out on his shield, but Herb Dean saved him from taking far more damage than he needed to take.
Yeah, I agree. Referees are there for a reason, to protect the fighter against, their own fighting mentality at times. They're not gladiators fighting to the death, and I think that was a good stoppage as well. Chris, you said something about Trevor Whitman and what an excellent coach he's been for Gaethje.
Mm-hmm.
There was a moment at the end of the 4th round when Justin was sitting on the stool thinking that he'd won it, basically celebrating, and he was like, "Oi, you've been here before and then you've been finished." And he's like, "Oh yes, I have, twice. You're right. And then he was like, it kind of like dawned on him again, and he went out and he was really clinical in that 5th round. And you think, if he wasn't there saying that, would he have gone out and just? I don't think he would have at that point, because he was dominating so much. But he still needed to be told that.
Well, he's referenced it. He referenced it in his interview with Joe Rogan at the end, didn't he? He said that his 2 losses have come from him not following the game plan and essentially getting overexcited.
Yeah.
So Whitman's words couldn't have come at a better time. Could I actually ask a question for you guys, especially Bryan? I'm really putting you on the spot here. All the way through that, certainly that fight, what did you think of Rogan's commentary?
I think Rogan is in a strange spot for that one. Eddie Bravo's in the corner for Tony Ferguson, which is best mate. For him and Ferguson are very, very good friends as well. I was actually listening to see if he was being too on that side, but he kind of, his perspective. He also knows deep, like in that camp. He knows he'll have chats with Eddie Bravo after he's seen Tony Ferguson do those stints where he has 6 hours without even a water break, and so he's getting lots of information. So he was very much looking as if Tony Ferguson was going to come back in rounds 4 and 5, and Gaethje was going to be in trouble. And I can kind of understand it, but I can see why people might have mixed feelings on his bias within that fight. But for me, it didn't bother me too much. I quite enjoy the fact he's got that much of an insight. But yeah, it's a strange one.
What do you think Eddie Bravo's advice between rounds? He was telling Tony good boxing.
Imanari roll he asked for. Imanari roll.
Exactly as well, eh?
Yeah, so he's asking for that. But that's, you see, I've spoken to people who've cornered people before, and their fight has just not turned up. They know what they can do in the gym. They feel like they're ready. The weight cuts worked, and then on the night, it's just not happened. And they can't. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no logic. It's one of the brutal sides of the sport that everything's got to click on the night for you to be at that sort of level and to consistently have victories against those sort of opponents. And I think even the corner would have struggled to understand where the Tony they know was during that fight, because he just wasn't himself, and I think they didn't even recognise who they were cornering either.
I believe the better fighter won on the night, and it's just simple as that. And Justin won this fight a few fights ago. Remember when you 2 losses in a row, you just stand there and get hit. That's when Whitman said, "No, we need to change it up a bit, and you'll get hit as much." And since then, Gaethje's just been on a fucking roll. It's unbelievable.
It excites me a lot for the Khabib fight this now, because
I got caught up in the hype as well. I thought, Gaethje can take Khabib, and now calm down
Well,
a bit. I've thought about
but-
it. It's going to be some fight, but
But I think because for me, I always wanted Tony and Habib. That's the fight I want, just because of the style.
You'll never
Tony's
get it
ground.
now.
Well,
R.I.P.
maybe not if
if Gaethje beats Khabib, you might get Khabib Ferguson. They might not get it.
Maybe. But it's now excited me for Justin Gaethje because he came into the UFC undefeated. He put on amazing performances. The Michael Johnson performance was stunning. Then he was looking for his equal and he found it. And he made adjustments off those losses. So he's matured as a fighter at this top level, despite all the success he's had before. We've seen other fighters come in from other promotions, step into the UFC, saying I'm as good as or whatever, struggle, lose, and then never really recover mentally. Not physically, but mentally.
Ben Askren?
Maybe. I actually don't think so. I think he's mentally. I think he's all right. I think he's okay. But this with Justin Gaethje, what we've seen, and even the way he put the belt on the ground afterwards, the way he talked, he's much cleverer than his fighting style would let you believe, and it's now really excited me for Whitman also being in the corner for a Habib fight. I want to see what Whitman comes up with for Gaethje versus Habib.
Yeah. I don't know whether they're making too much of it, too much of a story out of nothing. But they were also saying that Justin had his eyes fixed a couple of fights ago, and before then he literally couldn't see his opponents. He was just feeling them out in there, and like now he's almost got like an extra sense. Well, he has got an extra sense when he's in there.
One of the most important ones as well. One of the most important ones to be able to see the person who's trying to kill you.
Just another one in Tony Ferguson. I'm hearing he runs his own camp. He's the head coach.
He pretty much does. He's not part. You just watch him on social media. The crazy stuff he's doing as warm up. This is why I love him. I'm a massive Ferguson fan. He's different. He's an individual. There's none other like him. He doesn't rely on other people. And although he's had all the well documented and he's spoken about himself, the mental issues outside of fighting, he somehow even his recovery from the leg injury, and he was kicking metal poles weeks after it had happened. There's something different about him, and I love it, and I hope he goes away, he has that break, and he comes back. I think he's got a long path till he gets anywhere near a title. But Tony Ferguson as a fighter in the cage, putting on shows for us and asking questions of fighters that we want to see him up against, that's a beautiful thing.
I think Tony needs a Trevor Whitman. That's what he wants. That's what I think he needs to take him to come back.
Danny said who's next. Danny said who's next for Ferguson.
The dentist.
Oh my God. The dentist's 185 though, isn't he?
No, I meant literally he has to go and see a dentist. That's what I was saying.
I was like, that's a big step up in weight class for him. 2 divisions. Fair enough. No, I would like to see him take a massively long break of over a year. It's hard because of his age, but I think with that much damage, I'd like him to take a year off and then see who makes sense. What do you think, Chris?
Like Brian said about his well-documented mental issues as well, would a year away from the cage be something that he would be able to actually deal with as well? He's defined himself very much as a fighter. So to essentially change who you are, you see it with the sportsmen who retire and they hit this deep depression. I would worry about Tony having an enforced break and how he would come back. I think he just needs to physically recover. And then come back in and fight in a normal environment as well, because the other thing to take into account is such a bizarre environment for these guys. No noise, no energy. They've essentially got to build their adrenaline up themselves rather than feeding from the crowd. So I would be interested, I'd love to see that fight run back again, because I think you could run it 10 times and probably have 5 wins for each person, depending on who was really on form on the night. But who next for him? I don't know, because you're not going to see Conor McGregor step in against Tony Ferguson, because that's far too big a risk for him. You won't see Dustin Poirier for exactly the same reason, because Poirier's at that point in his career where a fight against Ferguson would completely derail him if he loses. So I worry that Ferguson, as I think Brian alluded to slightly beforehand, would become a bit of a gatekeeper for that division. The young up-and-comers, test yourself against Ferguson. If you can unlock that puzzle, then you're into the elite class. But, it was the role that Michael Bisping played for a couple of years, and talking about needing all your senses. The guy only had 50% eyesight, didn't he? So
that's right.
He could only see out of one eye, and he managed to reinvent himself from gatekeeper into world champion. So at the age of 38, I think it was, and Ferguson's 36 now. So there's still opportunity out there for him, but he just needs to mentally overcome the beating that he's had, I think, as well as physically.
Yeah. Do you know what I think as well? I think the people who accept last-minute fights or short-notice fights for these upcoming ones are going to be in a far better place than the people who are overtrained, who were supposed to fight in April, who've been extending their camps. I just think I actually would rather be a fit person like Justin Gaethje, taking a fight on 3 weeks' notice, thinking I've got a bit of a savage cut, rather than someone who's been in camp since January. Or as
Ferguson
Tony
said since November.
He's been in camp since November. That plus 2 weight cuts. And I was talking to Murdad Jansmini. We interviewed him a week or so ago, and he was saying that is true. Their sessions are 6 hours without a proper break. Like, it's just insane.
Madness.
I'm not surprised that we maybe didn't see the best Tony, but he is an absolute gangster forever, and I love him to bits.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's move on to Cejudo Cruz. Lots to dissect in that fight. Just first of all, Bryan, did you think it was a good stoppage?
Do you know what? Obviously, Dominic Cruz was very upset. Keith Peterson is a great referee. I like Keith Peterson. Potentially because I have nightmares about him because he's got the scariest voice in MMA.
I heard he's an alcoholic and a chain smoker.
Well, this is what I was going to come to. So Dominic Cruz accused him of stinking of booze and fags.
But that's as gangster as it gets, isn't it, mate? There you go. Literally.
The tank cabinet referee.
Yeah, oh dear. But the stoppage for me, I actually think it was a good stoppage because if you look at the blows, they highlighted it 11 unanswered blows, and he was getting up. On the 11th one as it came in, he was getting to his knees. But if you watch the 10th one, I think get people to go and do that if you're questioning why Peterson maybe jumped in. Cruz gets hit and then he loses his base and his face ends up on the canvas. So he almost drops again. And that's when the other guy moves in. Now, if you have ever seen lower weight classes, flyweights, bantamweights, put flurries of punches together, those 11 punches will have come in about 2.5 seconds, if that. All right. So Peterson jumped in, made the stoppage. Cruz took a huge knee, 11 unanswered shots. One of the ones before he started to get back to his feet, which I do admit he was doing, putting his face literally on the canvas, and Peterson jumped in. Now, I'd rather have a referee that was decisive and stepped in and made the decision rather than hesitating and we saw something bad happen within the cage. So I know Cruz was upset, but he's if you look back, it's the one before he steps up onto his knee. His face is touching the floor, and it's from him being posting on 2 arms, and then he drops, and then he starts getting back up. So Peterson's reacting to that shot. So he's taken the knee into account. He's reacting to that shot, and then he steps in. Possibly because there's a title on the line, you can argue. If you want to argue that sort of stuff, that it maybe should be let to go on. But I didn't see any problem with the stoppage whatsoever.
And I think the wrong person retired as well, didn't they?
Cruz looked all right, but I just thought Cejudo looked amazing. Cejudo looked phenomenal. Why is he retiring? Because he fell in love. If you watch him on social media, he is so loved up. And he said it himself. You imagine that thing. You imagine, because wrestling is the most brutal of all the combat sports, as far as when you are a young athlete in America, from 4 years old, he's been doing that. Probably every weekend, making a competition, wrestling 4 or 5 times at the top of practices to get to the Olympic level, then moving into MMA and trying to absorb all the knowledge. And if you look at his style, his striking is fantastic. His footwork's great. His range is brilliant. So he's evolved. He's had to learn all that. So he's dumped everything else in his life. And now he's found a Brazilian lady who can put up with how cringy he is. If you think he's cringy on weigh-in. Imagine him on Valentine's Day. What shit is he going to come up with? He'll be there with a ukulele, which will look massive in his arms, doing all. But so for me, and also it might be the greatest retirement we've seen, him and GSP, because who can argue defeating Demetrius Johnson, Dillashaw?
He's up there for the GOAT. Yeah.
Without a doubt, and then Cruz, and then just walking away. And I think he will walk away. I think he's that happy with what he's accomplished that off he'll go and enjoy the fruits of it.
He sounded like a virgin when he was in his post-fight presser, and he was like, "I found a girl. I found a girl. That's why I'm retiring."
She lets me touch her. She lets me.
Bless his little heart. He's got to go and retire to go and get laid all the time.
Oh, God bless him. You know, he's got gold boxer shorts as well, and he comes in with a gold silk boxer shorts. Still wears the medal. He's banging her in the face while she's on top of it. Yeah.
I'm delighted about the retirement, just so TJ Dillashaw can't get his rematch, Chris.
Oh.
Chris, what did you think of the accusations that Dominic Cruz made about the referee being like stinking of alcohol and cigarettes?
I was disappointed because I thought that Dominic Cruz was probably a better than that, but a lot of things are said in the heat at the moment, and certainly immediately after such a crushing loss for him. Because whilst he was thinking that he was getting back up, you still got to remember, a fighter's supposed to be intelligently defending themselves at all times. He's taken 11 shots. At no point are you trying to get back up. Are you trying to defend yourself? He was literally just eating shots, and he got swarmed. You know, TJ got swarmed in the same way by Henry Cejudo. He's super talented at that. And, you know, as much as it pains me to say, it was probably a good stoppage against TJ as well. So, I think Cruz will probably regret saying that, because he's an intelligent guy. You can hear it when he does the commentating. He comes across very well. Everyone who talks about him says that what a great guy he is. So I think it's probably a heat of the moment comment that he made. But yeah, again, it's a good stoppage. You had Sam Amidi and Dan Mulcahy on quite recently, and that accusation has been put at Dan before. I think it was either Bama or potentially even Bellator. I think it's Bama. He got called out for supposedly an early stoppage, but you know, that guy, I've never seen him make a bad decision. At the end of the day, you're there for fighter safety. You're not there for the fans' enjoyment. You're there to ensure that the person can get up and fight another day. And if in that moment you decide that that is a dangerous situation for that fighter, they're not defending themselves properly, you've got to jump in and actually do your job. And like Brian said, I think Peterson did his job. He went in at exactly the right moment, and he prevented anything bad from potentially happening. And okay, Dominic Cruz doesn't win a title again, but he lives to fight another day.
So who's going to be fighting for the vacant bantamweight belt then?
Peter Yan versus somebody. That's
Aljo?
exciting.
Aljamain Sterling.
I love Aljo.
Sterling, that's the fight. There's heat already. You got the social media between the two. It's a great fight. They're the fresh blood as well. It's what this is going to need as well, because if you look at all the people Cejudo was talking about, he was still talking about fighting Garbrandt, Aldo, Cruz. They're all people that have been around and they've achieved amazing things, but it felt like we're just seeing the same people. It just didn't feel like fresh events. Whereas these, if you put those two in, that division opens up massively. There's huge amounts of opportunities off the back of whoever wins that, and it's not going to be a dull fight. Aljo versus Peter Yan is going to be fun, and I think Peter Yan is without a doubt deserving of a title shot, and Sterling's got to be up there. He's got to be in the mix.
And then I think you need to check together. I think you need to check together TJ and Dominic Cruz as well when TJ comes back, because that will just be absolute fire.
Great call. Great shout.
I think everyone should turn down the fight with TJ and say they're not fighting a cheat, an EPO.
Don't be hating,
needle
Katie.
Cheat. I do think it makes sense now, though. All the kind of old legends that Cejudo was calling out, now knowing that he intended that to be his last fight, I think that makes more sense than him picking an up and comer. But definitely, I think that vacant title shot's got to go to some new blood.
Well, Dana said he'll make it next week. He said there must be a real retirement, no one of those fake ones. But he did say he's been talking about it for a while. He'll make a decision next week once they get these next 2 shows out of the way. Let's be honest, Aldo shouldn't have got the shot in the first place anyway.
No. But Aljamain, I know, said that he wouldn't fight during lockdown unless it was for a belt. So I'm assuming, I don't know what his training's been like, because he would have
New York, isn't
expected.
he?
Yeah, he's in New York where things are really bad. And also he would have thought that whoever won the belt last night was going to have a few months of, recovery ahead of them. So
yeah, sure.
I wonder if he's ready, but who's going to turn down a title shot having worked that hard for it? So, Peter, you mentioned earlier about Jacare failing his COVID-19 test. At least we know the tests were working, I guess. What are your thoughts on that?
Can I ask you a question? Sorry.
Yes.
Did anyone watch them having the tests? Did anyone see them? Oh my God, there was one. It was I've forgotten his name, but they literally bent it, and this little tiny lady made a UFC fighter wince more than I've ever seen him wince in the cage, and it just went so deep. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was like, no, give me
their brain.
That's right. Listen, do you want me to turn around? It might be an easier entrance for you. That's Jesus Christ. Could only use an earbud for that bit, if that's what you're trying to get to. Fucking hell.
They did go a long way up, didn't they?
They did. Michelle Watson took it like a champ, though, didn't she? Did you see that one? No problem.
So, yeah, they did look really uncomfortable. And we did have, we had more than one failure. We had Jacare and his 2 cornermen. Peter, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I was shocked like probably everybody else, but obviously with hindsight, my first thoughts was, why did no test everybody before they came over? Why wait? So they all got tested on a Wednesday, I think, so it's 48 hours before you get results, so it was the Friday. We got results, but they must have, obviously, I think when he came over on the Wednesday, he said, look, I've got a family relative, they tested positive, I've been in contact. So I think that's why he was wearing the mask and the gloves and stuff, because I remember I pointed that out. I goes, why is he wearing that when they're going to be fighting in a cage? So obviously had suspicions when he said that. So once he said that, they should have pulled him to that hotel, kept him separate. Why not do what local shows do and do a weigh-in on camera for him and stuff like that? Keep him away. That's what I would have thought they would have done. But was it not you said, Katie, that he got tested again after he tested positive? So we should get the test results tomorrow. So that's the ones I'll be looking at. Because look at the video. Because he was in the room with about 12 people. And Verdun was one of them right next to him. I know he was wearing the mask and all that, but it's not 100% that he couldn't pass it on. And Dana White fist pumping everybody. He fist pumped him. And then later on, he was giving people hugs and all that shit. So it's a bit crazy from that point of view. I just would have preferred it. I thought they would have got it tested before they even came over, and then tested again once they got there, and then keep testing them. But especially when you've got key workers not getting tested either. I'm a key worker. I've not even been tested yet. So it's a weird one. So hopefully when we get these results for tomorrow, then I'm hoping everybody's negative and we can move on to that. But I think whoever's fighting on Wednesday night, they should be tested now before they even go over there. So,
I don't know why that's not happening. Is that because they can't get the test to them where they are, or I imagine that must be why it is, because I know USADA can't test anyone either, which is a separate issue.
Self-testing, isn't it? Self-testing.
For Doom's first fight back.
Yeah. I'm hearing John Jones wants to fight Wednesday and Saturday because it's self-testing. No. Dillashaw's missing this. He'd be like, fuck.
It's made it interesting, though, as far as questions, because now there are questions about what is going to happen in the next 2 weeks. Will there be any repercussions off the back of it? That we've got no idea how the hotel was managed as well, with all the fighters, with all the catering, with the weigh-ins. They obviously didn't have the saunas and stuff, but surely if they're in a hotel, there will have been moving about, mingling. Well, maybe not mingling, but in similar spaces like the lobby or wherever else, lifts. So that is going to be interesting. That is going to be.
Did you watch Embedded, Brian?
I didn't watch Embedded. No, I'm sorry.
So
What?
they
Go
had
on.
like these individual portable saunas that they were bringing out for each fighter, so that they didn't miss out on a sauna, but
Wow.
didn't have to share one.
That's awesome.
And they were like just packing. Didn't get to see what they looked like. They were just like in cardboard boxes on a pallet being shipped out. But I know, I'm sure it's nothing like the local scene, but you do hear of hotel rooms that they can't get hot enough, so they're trying to have baths like to lose weight, and they just can't get the room hot enough and stuff. So I think they're pulling out all the stops, and it obviously showed because only Jeremy Stevens missed weight, and by quite a long way, didn't he?
Well, if they can buy an island, I think they can shell out for a few saunas and whatever else. So, but yeah, a lot of people thought that would be a big talking point that after the weigh-ins, would a lot of people miss weight due to not having the facilities to cut weight, but also not having the facilities maybe to prepare properly for a fight as well to maintain your weight. But yeah, that wasn't really a talking point. Stevens missed weight badly, so good fight though, wasn't it?
Amazing.
Good fight.
Amazing.
What the hell is Kelvin Cato made out of? Jesus Christ, that was stunning.
Where is he in the rankings? Is he in the rankings?
He's got to be in the rankings, or he's got to put himself up there now. He's fought Magomed Sharipov, obviously.
Yeah, he would have won that if it was a longer fight. I hate people who say that, but that fight is true of.
It's definite that if that had gone on more, he would have definitely won, right, Katie? 100%.
What about the Francis Ngannou knockout? Because everybody's going on about his scary power and all that, but I'm still not impressed. How many punches?
That doesn't surprise me, Peter.
Hang on.
Say it to his face.
What are you watching the UFC on the tiny TV? Do you not get any idea of this?
All he does is this. He just swings wildly. He missed 10 punches before he even
Have you seen what he does to
power.
humans? Have you seen what he does to humans? Humans who get hit by other big humans, and he just knocks them out.
Yeah, but until he gets to that top level and he gets steepy. You know what I mean? The same thing will happen again.
I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him versus Anthony Rumble Johnson. It'd be probably a 5-second fight. But
that wasn't a very girly noise that made then.
I seen a picture of Rumble last year, and he's lost a lot of weight. He's slimmed back
He's
down again.
238 pounds at the moment. He posted yesterday.
Is he coming back then? Is he going to come back?
Yeah, and he won't say what weight class yet.
Oh, make it heavyweight. If you've just called that fight, mate, that is a dream fight there. Imagine those two staring down and going at it. Wow.
If I was an advertiser, I would be paying top dollar.
Number 9 in the rankings.
Absolute top dollar to ensure that I had the slots either side of that. Because for starters, you know full well there's going to be so much time either side of it the UFC has to fill. This is going to be such a short fight, but it's going to be the ones that everyone's going to watch.
That's a great business brain there, mate. That is a quality business brain there, mate. There we go.
Did Greg Hardy no call Francis out after his fight?
No, stop it.
I'd
Stop
love
it,
that.
Greg.
I'd love to see that.
Stop it, Greg.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like to see that. A lot of people like to see Hardy knock the fuck out. So for that reason 100%. Only, I think I could see that be happening. But
even though it's a hateful scumbag, he looked so much better in that fight than he has previously.
Yeah.
His cardio was way better than his speed.
Yeah.
Control of output was so much better as well. His striking so much sharper. Love to see him get absolutely sparked and literally lying on the floor like Debo after he's been knocked out. But in terms of being objective about it, I thought he looked the best Greg Hardy that I think we've seen in the UFC.
Now, you see that with athletes that come from other sports, they have that sort of learning curve where they sort of go in there, they've got to learn about getting, even like you jump to Brock Lesnar and things like that, about when he struggled with getting hit for a bit by these big boys. But Greg Hardy is without a doubt a phenomenal athlete, terrible human, but he's going to be interesting to watch because he's youngish, young for heavyweight without a doubt.
Very,
and getting better every time. And he's been put in with crazy talent already. The Volkov fight, he should never have fought Volkov at this stage of his career. He has also been busy. They've used him a lot. I thought they'd shy away from using him, but they've put him in time and time again. And I don't know what it is that they've got going on with this relationship with him, because the fans have got a mixed relationship with him, without a doubt. But he has been consistently on a card. At least once every 6 months, he's fought. I'd even say 4 months, something like that, because he's regularly on these cards. Yeah, up there. You look at that fight; he's up there, and you've got Verdum and Olniak on the prelims. Madness.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I thought to get serious here, but you were going on about Hardy being a hated figure. And if I remember correctly, it was something he hit his girlfriend or whatever, and he got charged, but then it was dropped, right? But obviously everybody hates him, even though, but then you got Mike Tyson, who raped somebody, and everybody loves him. You know what I mean? It's a bit weird, isn't it? The way.
Yeah, but Greg Hardy doesn't have an awful voice, and he doesn't have a tattoo on his face. So,
because we've got Mike Tyson talking about a comeback, and everybody fucking bare knuckle boxers and all this shit challenging him, and
have you ever
exhibition.
Have you ever watched the Mike Tyson, the one directed by Spike Lee, the stage show?
No.
Where he talks. You should watch that, because he talks about the case and getting accused, and during the case, and he says while he's on stage, he says you can tell that this is true because they would have sued me by now for saying this out loud and live. He said, but I was still meeting Robin Banks for sex during the case where I was being accused of raping her. So you never know. I'm not sticking up for whatever. But there's a very. If you haven't seen that side, and that Mike Tyson talks about it, and also some of the details that you never get because we're not allowed them.
She doesn't come across as an angel either. But as I said, nobody I don't think will really know. But at the end of the day, he was convicted.
I don't understand why you'd not want to have sex with someone who'd raped you, but also why you'd want to have sex with someone who'd accused you of raping them.
That's a fair point.
But if that's true, Katie, we'll never know. We'll never know.
That's my husband as well, winding us up, saying he loves Hardy. You can piss off, Lee.
He looks like is he on the same amount of drugs? Is he on the same amount of drugs as he was when he took that photo on his profile? What's going on?
that was in Ibiza, so possibly.
Katie, is that you kissing his nipple or something on that picture? Is that one?
Yeah, it is.
I think Katie would have failed the test that night as well then.
What's that?
You'd have got someone else to take your test for you. USADA wouldn't have been able to test you.
Don't ask TJ.
TJ's innocent.
Chris, what's the name of TJ's business? Is it Professional Clean Juice? Is that what it is?
Oh, Clean Juice or something like that.
Clean Juice, that's right. Balls out, mate. That is a move, isn't it? That is
Shithousery at its finest. I love that guy.
Crazy.
Go to bed, Lee.
Yeah, I'll join you soon, honey.
Do we want to touch on Trump before we go, and him giving his seal of approval for all sports to go back to normal?
What's happened? Sorry, who said that?
Donald Trump. He was on before the prelims about how the UFC was coming back.
He had a recorded message for the fans. Yeah. Peter, do you want to talk about this?
No, well, just basically what he was supporting this, and now he's saying because the UFC and they caught that test, blah blah blah. All the sports need to come back in America now, the NFL, everything. So he wants to get everything back to normal. I fear it's a wee bit early for that, but we'll see what happens.
100% dead early for that. You look at to understand the virus and how it's going to work, mate. Sporting events, Italy, they talk about Italy. One of the big reasons that they had a major issue was from a football match in Bergamo, where they had two sets of fans come together, and via that they've traced back a number of cases, and it's spread. Sporting events it's difficult. We all want them to go ahead again, but we all want to be safe, and we all want this to kick off properly. What we don't want to happen is them to release some sanctions, let us loose a little bit, and then it have to be twice as hard. So in 2 months' time, we're locked down again, and flights are stopped, and industry stops, and all the questions and all that hardships that come with it happen again. So we all want to be optimistic. We all want the wheel to get going again. We want life to go back to as normal as it can be after this. But I think you got to make some brave decisions. But I don't think opening up all sports is a clever one.
Lee was telling me that 2 more Brighton players tested positive for COVID-19 today. Is that
There's
right?
3 in total, 3 or 4 in total now. Yeah, supposedly. But
And they're having a
also,
meeting tomorrow, isn't they? They're having a big
Wow.
meeting about a restart, project restart. So.
we've also got to take into account that Brighton are literally just above the relegation zone, and out of the clubs that are talking about just avoiding the season, they are very, very large proponents of that.
Yeah.
So do you think they're making up the results?
I'm a Palace fan, so I'm probably quite biased when it comes to talking about Brighton.
The way I see it, I think life's more important than football. I would just void everything and restart the season next season if we can get started by then.
Which is hilarious for Liverpool fans.
Oh,
no, but see, I hate Liverpool and I don't want to win the title, but even I know they've won the title. But just fuck football. Just let it survive, don't
Probably
it?
got it. So. It's the money that's involved in the Premier League.
Fuck money.
No, of course, I completely agree with you morally, but do you think that solicitors aren't going to have a field day just calling up Leeds and West Brom and Bristol City and all the clubs that are near the top of the Championship who are going to talk about the difference between getting 10 million quid a year or 100 million a year just in TV revenue on top of the rest of the money that gets thrown at them? There's absolutely no way on God's green earth that we can afford for that to happen. We're going to have to find some way of playing the season behind closed doors, or even 10 games in 10 days or whatever. There needs to be some type of resolution because there's far too much money involved in the difference between the Premier League and the Championship now.
Do you know what I love, though? I love your thought about the conspiracy theory for Brighton there, because it does mean a lot to them to stay in the thing. And what would be great is if it does get cancelled, then 6 months down the line, some photos of the Brighton players licking care home door handles and things like that come out. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like all the players, like literally just rubbing a granny and legging it. And
as a Palace fan, I couldn't think of anything better.
See, that's one of the things that helps.
I want to say one thing before we jump off and end it. I think we should give a massive shout out to Bryce Mitchell on the Fight Pass
I have
prelims.
his shorts behind me here. These are Thug Nasty replica shorts.
They're not the ones that he got his dick caught in with a drill, are they? They're not the same one. How much have you paid for? What are we finding out about you, Gaethje Hunter? You're licking your husband's nipples while he's off his tits. You've got bloody shorts of Bryce Mitchell's nuts hanging behind you over a Nate Diaz thing. God knows what you're doing with your hands under the table.
You should have seen what she'd done to get to become the host of the Late Show as well. She worked her way up.
Oh, gross.
Sorry, Lee. I hope you're not watching, Lee. I hope you're in bed.
But Bryce Mitchell, what a performance that was. My God. 2 or 3 twisters almost finished. Rolled into one, which was beautiful. That's the last time he fights on the Fight Pass prelims, without a doubt. I thought he was immense.
I was so glad he was on those, though, because they were the only ones that I managed to stay awake for. So I was literally trying to stay awake for his fight. I love that guy. He's just got such a personality, hasn't he? He's just like
any man who can drill his nuts and tear them and then look down and just undrill them and drive himself to hospital. That's more than a man. That is
and take a photo for social media.
And then record it for social media. What a fucking human that is. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah. No, love him to pieces. So, yeah, I think that was a much better note to end on than where we were a minute ago. So well done, Brian. Frankie's just putting a reminder out to Peter Knox that he's got to run a marathon on Tuesday. When he was smashed on last week's show, he said that he would be able to run out on Tuesday. So we are very excited to see what time you record, because Peter, you also said that you would do it in 3 hours. You said 5 hours was shit.
What?
5 hours is shit. I could do 3 hours of playing without trading it be 4 hours. And
awesome. I'm happy with 4 hours.
Because of social distance and restrictions, I thought I might not be able to do it, but fucking Nicola Sturgeon said you can exercise much as you want now.
For as long as you like, yeah, awesome.
Just a day. Yeah, wee bitch. I love her and all.
We very much look forward to you keeping us updated with how the marathon goes. Frankie, wasn't there another challenge as well that Peter said he would do? I can't remember what that was.
He's
But-
coming back.
He's going to roll with Scott Malone and Aidan Stephen.
Oh, that's it. You also said that you could roll with Scott Malone and Aidan Stephen for a round and not get tapped out.
And
I didn't
Katie.
have time to that one up. I had to
Katie.
join.
And
Well.
me.
And so let's make it Brian and Chris as well now.
No, I'm not getting involved in that.
Why
mate.
not?
Oh, hell no.
I'll go last in the line once they wrapped you up and made you cry for your mummy. That's it.
I think your comment was you could last longer than a minute.
I'd last a minute. I could last a minute with every single one of you. There you go. That's easy.
Also, a wee comment about your last night's win, Peter.
Oh, Kent, Peter, thought you'd been on the mower.
Did you
No,
win,
I bought
Peter?
that. Yeah, I won the 100 quid in the poker.
Nice.
Friendly poker
Look
game.
at you.
It's a kind of buy-in, but people kept buying back in and then they end up fluking it at the end. So
Oh,
yeah.
that would buy you some
Oh, wait.
recovery drinks on Tuesday.
yeah, I went to Tesco and got her some Walker's crisps for her birthday tomorrow. It's her birthday tomorrow. So.
Oh,
Do we get a Pringles?
what a lucky lady.
Has he got a tub of Pringles?
Yeah. Aye, Pringles and all. Aye. So, got her some stuff at Tesco. Tesco's brilliant for stuff like that.
Right, well, let's do a few more shout outs before we go in. As I said at the beginning, please go and follow our YouTube channel. I believe that we're streaming on YouTube as well as Facebook. Is that
Not
is that
tonight,
right?
isn't it?
Not tonight,
Oh,
not tonight.
Sorry. We're streaming on Facebook tonight, but please, when it's uploaded, go and like it on YouTube as well. We're trying to grow our YouTube following, so that'd be amazing. Brian's also trying to grow his YouTube channel, so please go and follow. He is hilarious. I love everything that he puts out on there. So honestly, go and subscribe.
Bless you.
And of course, thank you to our wonderful sponsors, Peter.
Yeah, Fight Fuel. There we go. Look, I've been drinking it all
Be
night.
better with the light on, but
That's what a promo that is. What a
Yeah.
You've
promo
been
that
frigging
is.
saying it all night as well.
Scottish man
And-
threatening the whole people to roll with him for a minute, saying he can run a marathon. Let's see how you do
Oh,
it on
because-
Fight Fuel, mate. Yeah, exactly. Come
I've
on.
been on
shout
Fight
out.
Fuel, baby. I'll prove you.
well, yeah, we shall see. You can't let Fight Fuel down, so
You get 15%
you're going to have to do it now.
15% off all orders
And-
on the screen.
And if you use the code MMA UK 15, you'll get 15% off all orders at fightfuel.co.uk. So go on and have a look at some of their stuff.
Peter, did you not
and-
go to the today?
I know, but hurry up, 'cause I'm bursting for a piss. I've been drinking Fight Fuel all night. Come on.
Brilliant. Thank you so much to everyone for bearing with us. Fight Fuel, it's not normally like this. Brian, thank you so much for joining us again. It's been lovely to see your face.
Pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Nice to chat with you.
Thanks,
Really
Chris.
good. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Sorry, 2 seconds.